Hey there guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler and this is your Movie Fix. So today we are here to finally talk about Star Wars The Force Awakens. It has been 30 very long years since Return of the Jedi, 30 years since the fall of the Empire. A new faction, the First Order, has formed and it's up to a misfit group of heroes and the Resistance to stop them. You know, I never thought I would really get to experience this. Although I did get to see Episode 3 in theaters, that's really the last Star Wars movie I got to see in theaters. But seeing that versus this was just two totally different experiences, and I got to really feel what Star Wars was. J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan had a monumental task. This was a huge weight to deliver on, and I really think they did. To be able to explain 30 years in between this, and to be able to introduce totally 100% brand new characters, I think they pulled it off. They brought the action, they brought the heart, and they brought the humor. And they brought all of it in buckets. You know, I'm not really the one to go absolutely goo-goo over practical effects and just act like I don't acknowledge everything that we were able to do with CG, but it worked beautifully going back to that for this movie. And in this, I was never really taken out. I never felt like this was just a movie. I was 100% immersed the whole time. Now, what I'm about to say may seem a little impossible, but you know, this is just how I felt. But I really felt that this movie was able to bring a lot of the heart and a lot of the magic that Empire Strikes Back was able to do. And this is with no small thanks to this brand new cast and all of the returning cast members. There was no cringing, there was no eye rolling. This was Star Wars. It was back. And as Mark Hamill says,
"You've been here, but you don't know this story."
Nothing's changed, really. I mean, everything's changed, but nothing's changed.
this movie stuck its foot in the door and it brought us back there. It took us back to Han, back to Leia, back to Chewie. And this movie was everything that it needed to be. You know, performances wise, I can't really think of something to really complain about. Now, I truly did. I really did worry about Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford returning. And I think a lot of people really did, that maybe they would just be playing themselves. They'd be the actors just back in the movie. But I really didn't feel that way. Harrison Ford, he didn't miss a step. He didn't forget how to play Han. And Carrie, she was Leia, but this was a very different kind of Leia. And you know, they talk about this is not Princess Leia. We are getting General Leia, and she was able to bring a new dynamic to the character that we didn't really get to see in some of the other films. I really felt like all of them brought the magic back. Now, the beginning of this movie did a awesome job introducing our brand new characters, Kylo, Poe, Finn, and Rey. I'd say Rey is definitely our most central character in this, and we get a lot out of her and what's going on in this journey that we go on with her. And Daisy Ridley was able to bring so much to this new character. She really was a standout in this. I wasn't expecting to like her quite as much as I did, and we still have so much to learn about her that we're definitely going to be getting in the rest of these movies. Finn and Poe were both also fantastic, and they also made for a lot of the humor in this movie. Now, this movie was very funny. It was definitely the funniest Star Wars movie that we have gotten, and a lot of that was thanks to them, and a lot of it was to Han and Chewie, and also Han, Chewie, and Finn all interacting. It was just so good to see all these new characters interacting with the old ones. It didn't feel gimmicky. Like there were references to the old movies and homages, things like that. Nothing to hit you over the head about. It was the right amount of nostalgia, nothing to really get upset about, and just enough to pull on the heartstrings and give you goosebumps. But none of the humor felt out of place. It was very situational, and it was built in these characters, and I think a lot of that magic came from Lawrence Kasdan. I remember him telling JJ that these characters almost write themselves. Just trust in them, and it'll happen. And I think a lot of this humor with Finn came from him being a stormtrooper his whole life, as we know that he defects from it, and making that transition from being a stormtrooper and going into the real world, basically, with these normal people and getting to interact and talk with them and say things that he wouldn't normally to other stormtroopers. It just made for a lot of fantastic moments. He was really funny. John Boyega was hilarious in this movie. He flat out was, and he had so much heart and just character. He had a lot of development. I think we got probably the most complete story arc with him in this out of everyone else. Now here, I was kind of saving the best for last, in my opinion. I want to get to the meat of it. Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Now, we've heard about him being unstable, a conflicted character with these multiple layers, and Adam brought it, JJ brought it, and Lawrence Kasdan brought it to bring to life this amazing antagonist. I absolutely loved Kylo Ren. I cannot stress that enough. He was my absolute favorite character in this movie, hands down. You do not have to worry about him being a copycat of Darth Vader. That is not what this is. You know, we have heard that he kind of idolizes him and looks up to him in that kind of way. We've got the hints of it with him staring at the helmet, but this is not a copycat of Darth Vader. Not one bit, not even close. There's plenty to distinguish him from that. And, you know, I thought we got more characterization in this one movie with Kylo than all three of the original trilogy with Darth Vader. As much as I love Darth Vader, I've just felt like we got to see so much more to a deeper, more conflicted character with Kylo. You know, and if I really have to nitpick, because that's really all I can do with this film is nitpick a couple things. There were no glaring issues to me. Nothing really stood out. There were no major faults. Just little things, and these are little nitpicks, but you know, there was one sequence with some CG creatures, and you know, I guess all I can say is that it's notable CG. You can tell that it's CG, but it was still a very fun scene, and it worked. And I really can't say that there was too much of an issue with it, other than you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a CG creature. A couple times here and there with some ships and blasters and things like that, I felt like we were kind of missing some of the iconic sounds that we've come to know from, you know, games like Battlefront, and even just in the classic movies. The sounds of a couple of things were different, which I guess I can kind of accept it because the technology has changed over 30 years. They're using different weapons, kind of slightly different ships. So I felt like that was maybe just JJ's stamp on things and his team kind of just putting his own spin on some of the things that we already know and love. So in closing, I absolutely loved this movie. JJ and the crew took us back to this dirty, war-ridden galaxy, and I honestly could not have been any more pleased with what we got. Now, this movie does leave a lot of questions. A lot of things are kind of left unanswered, which I don't think is bad. The movie still felt very complete, and I thought it had an amazing ending, but there's plenty of characters where we know we have to get more out of it, and there's still more to go onto the story, and a lot of that came from Kylo Ren. I think there's a lot more to him, and there's a lot more to Snoke, and just these characters. There's so much more to this journey that I cannot wait to see what Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson are going to be able to come up with Episode 8. So it was an amazing story. Plenty of heart, humor, action, and plenty of just amazing performances from everyone across the board. So with all of that being said, I am going to give Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, a very well-deserved 9.8 out of 10. So that's it, guys. Those are my thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens. Comment down below. Please keep it spoiler free for everyone else. There will be a spoilers review later. But comment. I want to know, what did you think of this film? What did you think of the characters, the new cast, the old cast? What was the overall feeling you had watching this movie? That is all I have for now. If you want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe for more movie news, movie reviews, and trailer reactions. I will see you guys on the next movie.